What's up, Internet? Welcome back. It's Dad QQ. We're playing Leiria? God, it's too late in the early in the morning to play this stuff. Leiria Stargazer. Yeah, this is our second serious run. Yeah, I've been enjoying this game quite a lot. I think it's got a diverse amount of tools to kind of get you through everything, and I think gives you enough slack to hang yourself with, and yeah, a lot of challenge. So you don't seem to think it's the game trying to just kind of rip all the quarters out of you. It's much in the way of, nice hard challenge, but gives you all the time in the world or all the opportunity in the world to succeed. And then we really excel there on the last moments of death there on that sort of mini boss. And here's the sort of concentrated laser fire. You'll actually find that I like using the sort of fast spread fire during the stage so I can move about and then switch to the sort of concentrated for the boss, which is probably not an entirely rare strategy. So here we are, switch to that fire. We're going to try not to use bombs whatsoever because they are default on auto bomb. And not even the sort of auto bomb of like using all of them if you get hit, but using each one. So we have 4 of them in our gauge there, with almost like a 80%, 75% Excel gauge there. 15 seconds. Turn it on right there just to get all those points. Not too shabby. Kind of like I was saying in the first video, already, without too much effort, we're already kind of scratching the surface of the final level. Again, with another good Excel kill. We're already scratching the final level, so I really think the 1cc is certainly in grasp. I don't know if we need to go plural on that, but we did. It's kind of the problem, that I'm facing right now, recording early in the morning and being, naturally an idiot and then also exhausted on top of that. Being a dad is not easy. Super rewarding, but not easy. To be completely honest and outside my character on this channel, it's kind of like one of those things where it's like I've always been perfectly happy being kind of a trash person, kind of a jerk, I'll say what I want to say and that'll be it, I have no problem with kind of like, having a bad attitude and just kind of letting people have whatever opinion of me that they would like and let bygones be bygones. But having a baby, it's like, not like that's changed, but it certainly has made me want to be a better person, I guess. Not to be too sentimental and too cheesy, but, It's a weird thing, If you're a dad, you know what I mean. If you are about to be a dad, I'm sure someone's told you. It's that sort of thing. I'm sorry for, all the viewers I have that really aren't all that interested and just want to see gameplay stuff. But yeah, people tell you, having a kid will change your life, and they're absolutely right, Anyway, as much as I like to, think I haven't changed that much, my brain has just been reshuffled. And obviously not. It has been shuffled in a good way when it comes to video games. They could have reshuffled it that I was a fucking pro, but nope, not. Apparently didn't particularly mind with that. And also there's a particular odd gauge that I wasn't speaking about in the last video. It's this sort of Stargazer logo, green, red stuff here on the left side of the screen. It's decreasing as we don't pick up points. As we pick up like point items, it increases and then kind of deflates. I have no idea why. I don't know what that does. I don't know if it's a sort of multiplier or if it's just a cool little effect. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a sort of multiplier of some variety. You know, that does kind of happen where, you know, if you, the more special points you have, the better they are. Without actually knowing myself, you know, I would say it's probably like, you know, an Excel multiplier. Should we talk about Markiplier? I hate to be the sort of guy that just causes shit all the time. But, you know, I used to be a Markiplier fan. I used to watch a lot of his videos maybe a few years ago. And I think I've told this story on the Game Bound channel, one of their older videos. But yeah, you know, I used to be, you know, I think I would like to consider myself one of the ground level Markiplier fans, you know, to the point where I think I have like, I don't think I have them anymore, but I may. Like, actually, I don't think I do anymore. I think I may have given them away. But I had like 3 or 4 of the Markiplier charity stream shirts. You know, I used to do them like every other month, and I was right on the ball with all of them. But I don't know. And then he got this like really huge exponential growth in his channel where, you know, for a while we're like, man, you're gonna get 1 million subs someday. You know, it'd be really great. And then bam, like this sort of rocket. And then like overnight it was 2, and then it was 3, and it was just really out of control. And it wasn't that his subscriber count really bugged me. It's just that, you know, I think he's a very sentimental and emotional guy. But I think, you know, much in the same way as I get to notice things on the back end of my YouTube and be like, oh, cool, people like Toho, I better play more Toho. He probably looked and said, oh, cool, my crying videos where I get emotional about fans and current events or whatever does really good. I'll make sure the next time I'm emotional to record it. And I just felt like, you know, if this isn't really, like, disingenuous, it's certainly wearing that costume. You know, I think, you know, a lot of people go to bat to saying that he's a very real, genuine person. But, you know, I don't know. It really, not that I'm like the sort of guy that's like, you know, crying's for girls, you know, real men don't cry. But it seemed like he was doing it almost on call, like every 2.5, 3 weeks. And the videos were just mobbed with views, where he'd have some Let's Play that was doing decently, and then like his next like, you know, I need to recover my smile video was like 4 times as big, and it's just like, I don't know, this is, I'm not feeling this anymore. You know, and it's nothing against him. You know, and much in the same way of like people who like really rip on TV personalities. Like I always use the example of like Glenn Beck, where I really think he's just an actor. He may not be, but you know, if I was a, you know, like for a YouTube guy, you know, if I was a YouTube guy and all of a sudden, you know, much like Glenn Beck, if I started saying some real ignorant, bigoted shit, and then I got viewers, like all the, you know, overnight, over 2 weeks, you know, I got 3 million subs. Yeah, I would probably change my tone to being ignorant and bigoted. You know, not to be completely like pessimistic and just like money drives. But I think, you know, you can't help influence when you're being successful. You know, whether it's like, you know, Glenn Beck going to the radio station and having a bad day and then saying a bunch of ignorant and bigoted stuff and then going, oh shit, I'm gonna get fired, but instead he got a raise. And then he's like, I guess we'll keep this trend up, to Markiplier crying one day and getting a bazillion views on it and going, okay, I guess we're going to show our emotions more. But, you know, I'd like to say that the good old Type QQ dumpster fire is never going to change, but, you know, that's not true at all. You know, I mean, I try to keep a good eye on viewership. You know, every time you click on a video, I do look at it and notice like, hey, people like this stuff. You know, or people don't like this stuff. That's why Dandy's dead in the ground. Nobody gives a shit about that video. That game in particular. Like Dandy right there, fuck Dandy. You know, I mean, it's an okay game. I just, you know, I'd have a lot more fun with it if I could move left or right. But it's kind of neat. It's kind of got like that sort of Binding of Isaac sort of who knows what these candies do until you get them type of thing. But nobody cared, so I didn't care. Or at least it exhausted the one care I had to like, okay, I get it. No one cares, I don't care. And certainly that's why we played as much Toho as we did, or went back to Embodiment of Scarlet Devil. You know, those videos, you know, people like that game, so. And in turn, like, I like playing games that people like. So certainly, you know, I could understand why, how influence could kind of play a role with people and kind of fuck with them. You know. And actually, you know, to be completely honest, you know, it's like that Deep Space Waifu. I don't think anyone who's ever played that game really liked that game. That game is garbage. Straight up garbage. But, like, it's really, like, it's the most viewed video series I have. And that's the only reason why there's 3 of them, is that because, like, the first one just, like, made, I think it's like at 1,300 views already, which I know is probably chump change to a lot of channels, but, like, you know, on a good day, I'll score, like, 10 views on a video, and that's awesome. You know, for, you know, 28 subscribers I have right now, if half my viewership watches a video, that's awesome. You know? But yeah, like, 1,000... 1,300 people were watching it, so I was like, shit, I guess I'd better play some more of this stupid, dumbass game. And so I did. It's just, it's, you know, and I you know, same with Gamebound, and same with some of their viewers, or not viewers, but some of their friends. You know, it sent this whole sort of domino effect, at least in my sort of, like, YouTube sphere, people playing this stupid, curvy game, just because people were so interested in it. I mean, that's why I've said it before in previous videos. I think it's always important that if you like the series, and I don't even mean it in my channel, but in any YouTube channel, you know, make sure you leave a like or a comment or something like that, because, you know, if it's a small channel like mine or a large channel like somebody else's, you know, it certainly will get noticed. At the very least, you've at least done your part, you know, so, you know, you can't say if a series got canceled that, you know, it wasn't because you tried to keep it around. You know, I'd be surprised if there was too many content creators that, you know, wouldn't want to play videos or play video games that people, you know, didn't want to watch, you know. I mean, that's certainly kind of the case here, you know. I'd like to keep it to shmups and bullet hells and shooting games in particular, you know, of various sort. But we do play the occasional Mega Man and, you know, platformers and fighting games occasionally, just to change things up. Speaking of fighting games, I have a ton of new fighting games in my Steam library that I need to install and get with. Like, I think I got the new Blaze Blue. I have all kinds of cool ones. They're such large installs, and I always like playing them multiplayer. So it's you know, I wish some days my girlfriend would be interested in this stuff, but I think her gaming days have kind of passed her by. Well, especially with the baby as well. She's really gone into super baby mode or super mommy mode. So, you know, I don't think I can rightly give her a controller at this point in our lives anymore. But who knows? The new Kingdom Hearts is coming out, and she's always been super hyped over Kingdom Hearts, so that might be her introductory back into gaming. Yeah, this boss is beating the piss out of us. But it certainly doesn't help that now we're, like, absolutely bankrupt on Excel. We do have 3 bombs and 2 lives, but we hope to kill her ASAP so we don't have to Oh, there goes one bomb. I think that's going to be it, though. I think we're going to be able to... There we go. And pretty awesome. You can kind of skip right through that cutscene. On to stage 5. It's been a fast Let's Play so far, or a fast video. You know, I've been talking about everything but the gameplay, and we're on to stage 5 already. Hopefully that's okay with everyone. You know, sometimes I do get to ramble on, and sometimes at these late hours, you know, sometimes it's just like staring at the stars nonsense. Pretty good bonus point with that sort of like larger enemy. But I do want to mention real quick, for those who are watching part 1 and part 2, well, I guess you are watching part 2 at least, that I did feel a little weird talking about sort of my some of the rambling I did in the last video. I did feel, you know, just want to mention that if you felt weird listening to me talk about, you know, my finances and whether or not I can score keys from developers and stuff like that, I certainly felt weird afterwards. I was kind of like, I don't know, that was kind of, you know, kind of nonsense and kind of shit nobody needs to really care about or hear about or listen to. You know, a lot of just, I don't know, I didn't mean it to be like kind of bitching and crying and stuff like that, but it certainly felt like it after I did it. I don't know, I guess overall, if I had to kind of revise my statement before, is that if, you know, if anyone had any sort of thoughts that, like, you know, that I had, like, oh, there's an extends there, but had it, you know, like if I only had selective or like only limited time or effort or desire for this channel, you know, I don't think that's particularly true. Like, I have intention of playing like every game on here. You know, it just so happens it's a lot of modern shmups. Although I should go back and really play the old Gradiuses and stuff like that. I just have a weird issue with like, you know, like NES ROMs and stuff like that. You know, I'd like to stick to Steam and be as legit as possible. But, you know, I do want to put more of the old school stuff. Gradius and Thunder Force, all that stuff. All the classics. Absolutely destroyed. But yeah, I didn't mean to kind of throw my woes upon the internet, you know, and just kind of like let everyone know, you know, I'm a poor bastard and da-da-da-da-da, but, you know, it's just, you know, I want to, you know, I would love to do more. You know, it feels like I'm not, you know, sometimes like a, you know, I'm just kind of making do, you know, I'm just sort of like, I don't know. That's just what I'm feeling. Like, I just want, you know, some good points there. I do think that sort of that red gauge on the top is a multiplier for those points you get in Excel mode. Yeah, I guess that's what I'm saying. It's like I always want to try to do more for the channel. And just put a period on the end of that. You know, whenever there's a new game that comes out and I'm not able to cover it, I'm kind of like, ah, shit, that sucks. That's all I mean. Stage 5 boss. He's no joke. I think 4, 5, and 6 stage bosses are no joke. But there goes that form. Onto this one. Man. Down goes another bomb. Not a hard pattern until those sort of side weapons come in. And yeah, and that's what happens when you have Excel and try to use it. Then it gets real fast, and you know you get punished for being a dummy. Last form, and really, certainly one of the shortest ones. That middle form there was quite long. Probably. Oh man. Yeah, and sadly that Excel just died right before the boss did, so didn't really get the full extent of those points either. But we are on to the last level here with one life. And it looks like luckily here with a little bit of one more hit with that bomb. Well, let me finish my sentence first. And just immediately lost it. But I think there is some good news in this level. I think we get an extends off our points. Like in the last video, I think. Like I had thought maybe they were around like that 5 bazillion. Although we're at 37 right now, I think we might get one at 4. We'll see. We'll see. But it was certainly, at least from what I remember, when I played this run earlier, it pretty much was it came at the right time. Some really nice points there. No, we crossed over 4 and did not get the extend, so I'm not sure. Maybe we didn't get a free man. I want to say we did. I felt like we did, but I could have been mistaken. I could be mistaken. 2 bombs, and maybe like 9 seconds of Excel here. No lives. There we go. That's some good stuff right there. Oh, and there goes another bomb. That was careless and stupid. Just ran right into it. Not even a poor dodge, but like as if we didn't even see it was there to begin with. This giant blue line on the screen. It's a good enemy to use the or the Excel against. With a lot of bullets and capitalize on all that. But now we are actually... There we are. We are now... we topped our best score from last run. But we are criminally low on our Excel meter here. Kind of just, you know, using it to stay alive. But, you know, if we were ever to face a boss, we'd be, yeah, like 4.15 seconds of it. Just... There it is. Excellent. And then, yeah, just like we thought, at 5 quadrillion, or whatever it is. I don't know how many digits it's 50 mil. At 50 mil, you get the extend. And that really couldn't come at a better time. I mean, we are going to immediately use it and die. But I don't think it's going to be the worst thing ever, because it's going to give us, you know, full bombs and like 70% of Excel. So yeah, so there goes that. But yeah, almost full power as well if we didn't let that last one just kind of drift away. Trying to get it up here, I could have got it, but didn't risk it. And was able to excel him after that phase, but he just didn't have any bullets out, so he didn't really get much points. Got a little bit, but not really worth writing home about. Yeah, real ugly, real busy there, but it looks like we're going to... There we go. But no excel. Like, really, like, we're down to... It looks like we have about 3 hits on our bomb. Gotta really stretch those out as much as we can, but you know how it is. You know, we are... It's a commentary track, so you know we're doomed, but we are doing better than we were last time, so progression is certainly at least a good sign. Yeah, and this series here I thought was absurd. This shit does not end. What a gauntlet this is. These sort of like saucer guys just keep coming, keep coming. And I really felt like this. I think this is really kind of like the onslaught right before the final boss. But I felt like how much further could this go on? Yeah, and it just doesn't end. Yeah, just ripping every last bit of. Yeah, and I think that's the. You can see the boss there on the top of the screen, kind of coming in, but. What a gauntlet, you know? But yeah, better than last time, but I think we still have some more work ahead of us. So that's going to be it for this video. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, do all that stuff, and we'll come back and play some more.